Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. And I guess I could take this and use some pictures of some nice flowers my mom got yesterday. And we're taking her out to the it's called Water and Wine. Sounds like a religious thing. It's actually formerly the Lake Edge. We're going out there. Um, Basically, today's blog is listening to the news and listening to how everybody's critical of Pakistan. And the president of Pakistan has had his life almost taken many times. And the Pakistanis have lost thousands and thousands of troops on these operations to get Al Qaeda and deal with terrorism. And we seem to have a blind eye. It seems if Pakistanis die, it's no big deal. When we send our predators over there in good faith too, get um, some priority targets, we end up killing a lot of the Pakistani civilians, and we just don't seem to give a damn. It's no big. We blow it off. I remember ex-Congressman Carney, boasting about how he took out a few people with flying the Predators, like he's an armchair warrior. That was one of the things that annoyed me about Chris Carney, is he seemed to present himself as this brave warrior going mano a mano. And anyhow, we've killed a lot of Pakistanis by accident. They didn't ask for this crap to happen. Um, our original intent was going into Afghanistan. We did that. And I've been listening to Religion Online today, and they're talking about various things, that it's our right as Christians to take out bad people. I guess it's our right as humans to take out bad people, but when it comes to rapists and mass murderers and stuff, apparently that's not a big deal. I guess you have to hit a certain threshold of killing people, and then it becomes significant, and then society says this person has to be eliminated. Normally, had Osama bin Laden been an American, they could have just said he was mentally ill. Like who was the guy who knocked off Hinckley, who tried to kill President Reagan and screwed up Brady? That's the Brady gun law guy. So it seems we have a selective way of deciding what's constitutional right. We have a thing called we have a thing called cruel and unusual punishment. We've had debates on this, that we're civilized and we're not into cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, but apparently we are. It all depends. If you're a homegrown person, you kill people here, then we're worried about cruel and unusual punishment. And typically, when someone does something really heinous, if they work it right, they can be deemed insane, and it's no problem. Um, in the case of Osama bin Laden, no one seems to remember, and the media doesn't even talk about this, that at one time he was our hero. He was taking out the Russians. He was working um, in Afghanistan. We were supplying him arms, and he was hot stuff. Everybody loved the guy. And apparently, if you want to look into this, the oil companies, or gas companies, I should say, it's probably one and the same, they've been trying to run a line down to China to get them cheaper gas. And they couldn't run it through Iran, so they had to run it through Afghanistan. So apparently, there was they had talked to the Al Qaeda and said, look, we want to get through here. And they said, no way, Jose. And they said, we can either cover you with gold, or we could cover you with bombs. You make the choice. And about supposedly a day before 9/11 took place, a day before the World Trade Centers were hit, there was a plan on the desk of George Bush to attack Afghanistan prior to this whole thing. Now, this to me is very significant because there's some crazy stuff. Not to say that obviously these planes were hijacked and flown into World Trade Centers. But when you look at that one building that was taken down, it went down like a controlled blast. There's some suspect to that. There's even suspect to the fact that the FBI seized all the photographs of whatever it was that hit the Pentagon. You would think that they would be open and resolve this, but apparently the government either is covering something up or what? Why don't they want us to know? It's the same thing as Obama destroying Osama's body, throwing it in the river. If it was, I mean, the ocean. That's if it was Osama. This could have been a real fiasco. But why do we accept our leaders putting things so that we have to trust that everything's okay? We won't know about the Kennedy assassination for a long time. I think everything is closed for 75 years. They're hoping we're all dead, and we accept this. We don't ask our presidential candidates to open up the Kennedy case and let the information out. We do know that Lady Bird Johnson basically had Lady Bird Construction, which eventually was converted into Halliburton. And when she died, she was the largest stock shareholder of Halliburton, but no one seems to talk about that. But no one seems to want to talk about that Osama was our guy, and we've regularly been flying Al-Qaeda around. The CIA has been working with them. They're down in Libya working to overthrow Gaddafi because I guess the gas companies want to get more gas to China. I don't know. It seems that we're doing all this expense in Afghanistan to make China benefit. I mean, that gas that's going to go through that pipeline is not going to the United States. It's going to China. That doesn't seem to bother anybody. And I really wish that people would look into it. Listen, I'd love to believe my president. I would really love to. And I believed for a while in George Bush until he wouldn't protect our borders, and he made examples of those border guards. And then I realized, and then when he was talking about the people volunteering their time to protect the borders as vigilantes with disgust, because obviously they were stopping drugs and everything else from coming in this country. And he was pissed. People pay these people good money to make things happen. And you got to understand that this whole Republican Democratic thing is good cop, bad cop. And until you understand this, until you're in the mindset where you realize that's the reason why they're so pissed off at the Tea Party, because they haven't gotten to these people yet. They haven't been bought. Maybe eventually they will. And maybe the pressures of getting an offer you can't refuse might be good. But you have to understand that the media has a certain slant. They really do. And to say that Obama was gutsy in his move is an insult, because no president should be considered gutsy for doing the right thing. If that was the right thing to go in there and take out Osama, it shouldn't have been even a second thought as to the ramifications. When Bush went into Iraq, I mean, the odds of him pulling that off were very, very slim. But he did it because I think he thought it was the right thing to do. Maybe. Who knows at this point, like I said. But the point is, the media came down on him, totally destroyed him, said the people weren't ready for democracy. Now all of a sudden, the same people who were pissed off at Bush think Obama's great, and that all the takeover of Mubarak and the Muslim Brotherhood taking over Egypt and threatening Israel is wonderful. They think that having Al-Qaeda fighting against Gaddafi in Libya is wonderful. They think everything is wonderful, anything that makes it more dangerous for Israel. And Israel is a reality. They're not about to roll over and play dead. They are very serious people. And I respect them and I admire them for their tenacity. And unfortunately, the United States doesn't have tenacity. We are drones. Our purpose is to be sucked dry. We're giving money away to other countries when we're borrowing that same money from China. I mean, does this bother you folks at all? I mean, is there anything wrong with this picture? And yet we're worried about China being a developing country, and they don't have to worry about emissions, and they're being exempt from the cap and trade. And we have these people in the United States who are pushing for cap and trade. They are happy that the price of the dollar is up. The point is, there's not one environmental group who is pissed off at China that I know of. If so, let me know who they are, because I'd like to send them money. Basically, this whole thing is to take the United States down. They use the environmental people, they use the warm fuzzy people, the eco movement, the green movement, to do everything to demobilize the United States. You have to understand there's only three wealth builders in society, and that's mining, manufacturing, and farming. And they've done everything they can to destroy all of that. Those are the things that allow you to get your nails done, your hair done, get a hamburger and all that. I guess even hamburgers are considered manufacturing now because they're taking meat and putting it on, manufacturing a hamburger. But the real jobs that people have are paying less than what they had before they lost their job. The replacement jobs are less. That means tax revenues are going down. We got some serious crap. And we'll get back to, I think it's 47% of the households are not paying taxes to the federal government. And those 47% are saying that the other 53% aren't paying enough taxes. And then we have the people coming down on the oil companies who are actually producing something. And the government's making more money, more profits than the oil companies. And no one's looking at the government as a bunch of whores. No, they're pissed off at even the government's pissed off at the oil companies. Can you ask yourself why? How can we be so twisted in our thinking? Not to keep an open mind and question anything. No. But to say that Obama was gutsy because he risked something. Obama could do anything. This whole thing about his birth certificate, it really doesn't matter because even if it was proven that he was, a KGB operative, his supporters would still say, wonderful guy, give a chance, give him a chance. So there's nothing in the world that Obama could do to get the air to draw any criticism from the media. Nothing at all, except, outright attack Israel perhaps. Maybe that would piss him off. But short of that, there's nothing that Obama could do to piss off the media. Obviously, there's the conservative groups who take their shots. Some are appropriate, some aren't appropriate. Some are knee-jerk reactions to anything Obama does. But typically, everything he's done has taken us down the road to disaster. I don't know. Please tell me all the good things he's done that actually have made us stronger. I'm not talking about spiritually or philosophically. I'm talking in dollars and cents, that we're not ready to go bankrupt and that we're not weaker and ready to collapse economically. And when you talk about collapsing economically, you're talking about riots, you're talking about things that you don't want to know about. You're talking about National Guard, you're talking about crowd control. You're talking about making what Mubarak did look like a Boy Scout jamboree. And, ask yourself, how many people would Obama kill or Bush kill if people started rioting in the United States to keep in power? Tell me. How many would it take rioters to be killed? 1 million, 2 million, 3 million? I mean, there's people being killed in Syria every day, and that doesn't seem to bother anybody, yet they're worried about how many people Gaddafi was going to kill defending his, quote, country. I mean, that country was recognized in the UN, even after they were responsible for blowing up the Pan Am flight. It was still recognized in the UN, and we could have put threats on Gaddafi when they took back that guy responsible for that Pan Am Lockerbie bombing. But I mean, we did make a little stink, but it was no big deal. In fact, they were giving aid. We were giving. Libya was in the Obama budget. So you tell me what the hell's going on. And I just wish at least half of the Obama supporters would at least take some sort of, what would I say, a rational look, and not look at this guy as some sort of savior like some Jesus Christ. I mean, there are some self-hating people in the United States that hate this country, and they love the concept of communism and all that. And God bless them. That's their right to have that opinion. But just admit it, that you're just for people who want to either destroy the United States or turn it into the Soviet Union, and take away your rights and turn you into drones. Not that we're not already drones. This mandatory health insurance thing is one of those things where I am being forced to do something I don't want to do. But no one seems to care about that. They don't look at that as at least a lot of you don't care about that being unconstitutional. Anyhow, eat your greens, stay healthy. The government doesn't care about you. Bye-bye.